Hello and good day. This channel is called Add to Your Knowledge. The purpose of this channel is to give you more information and to be able to decipher what's the right information from not. A lot of people don't know that it is your own responsibility to know what's truth and what's not, what's lies. Sometimes you receive information through WhatsApp, through satellite TV, through other things, and you believe it's true. It's not. You have to know what is true in order to have a right opinion. Remember, you are responsible for what you think and what you do if you do anything about it. But even your words can make a difference, can tell what are you. All right, let's say you want to know about information. Information now, some people call it false media, some people call it false news, actually, some of them are really lies, and you have to be able to distinguish lies from not lies. First thing is you have every information site has to have credibility. If they don't have credibility, then you shouldn't look at them at all. A long time ago, I found a book when I was in London reading about my country. And I decided, I want to know about it. It was by an Englishman. Well, I think he was an Englishman. And the first 3 pages, I found information that were not true at all. And I know because it was talking about my hometown, and I know it was not true. So then I said, oh my God. I looked at the book and I said, what is this? Now, if this information I know that is not true, is lie, what about the others that I don't know? They could be true, they could be lies. So I decided to throw it away. I don't want this book because it would give me information and I will follow it. So the thing is, how do you get right information? Okay, let's suppose you want to know about Buddhism. What do? First thing, you don't read a book about Buddhism by someone who is not a Buddhist. This is the first thing, because you don't have an opinion yet, and you don't want to be forced to an opinion for someone who is not that expert. Secondly, you can find a book that is written by a Buddhist, but for non-Buddhists. So it's more like promoting Buddhism. You don't want that either, because it will only show you the right side from the wrong side. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with Buddhism. Actually, in this channel, I am not, and I repeat, I am not promoting, denouncing, or degrading any religion or any nationality. Okay? So that's set aside. You want to find a book that is written by a Buddhist or Buddhists for Buddhists to read. And that way you will have the right information about it. That you will not be misled. And you have to be able to give credibility and non-credibility to news media. Okay, I'm sure if you do that, you probably maybe cancel all the medias altogether. But you have to decipher the information and find out if it's true or not true. About a week ago or so, I read about the coronavirus that there were 68 cases in Sweden and 3 cases in Iraq. Now I asked my son, well, what does that mean? What do you get from this if I give you this information? He said, you give me that means there are more in Europe. I said, no, it doesn't mean that there are more in Europe. It says, well, maybe because Europeans don't know how to deal with it. No. Iraqis are better? No. You see, this information, I'm not saying that Iraqis are better or worse, Swedes are better or worse. No, what I'm saying is look at the big picture. Sweden, neighbors, they don't have really any neighbors because they're neighboring with Russia, and Finland is all ice, all things, and between them and Denmark is sea. But Iraq, their neighbor is Iran. Okay, and we know one of the countries that has most coronavirus cases is in Iran. And we know that Iran have good relations with Iraq. Well, actually, more than good relations. They almost like control Iraq. And the people go there from Iran to Iraq all the time. The borders are safe. They can come at any time. And there are religious sites in Iraq for Iranians to visit. So that means there are more Iranians going there. So what you get from this information, when you get this and you get the knowledge of where Iraq is, and whose neighbors are, and you get information also about Sweden, then you know that this is false information. So all you have to do is know what's true by looking at the big picture. I'm not saying you disregard this situation, but I would disregard, I would say he's not credible anymore, and I will not receive any information from this site because I want to now find it. This also, Wikipedia is not a reliable source. Wikipedia, when I was doing my PhD, you cannot reference Wikipedia in your dissertation. You cannot. Wikipedia is something. It's information. Okay, if you want to know about a country, the location, the sizes, all these things, and so on, you do that. But if you want to read about people and other things and religions, and don't. Wikipedia is not a good source for that. So now we come back to the title of this episode. It's the first one, actually. I don't know how many episodes. It's called Wahhabism. What is Wahhabism? Wahhabism is... Actually, there is no Wahhab. There was a Wahhabism a few centuries ago in Morocco. That's what's called Wahhabism. Now, the people in other parts of the Middle East and the Islamic world called the Saudi Arabian way of Islam Wahhabism. And it's not right, it's not that way. Okay, Wahhabism, as they call us, is based on a person named Muhammed bin Abdulwahhab. He was born over 300 years ago, I think in 1703, in the central of the peninsula of Arabian Peninsula. And he was a very bright child. He was able to get his teachings, reading, because his father was a judge, his grandfather was a judge, and he was able to read and write. And at that time, that was something that is rare in the Arabian Peninsula. It was under the Ottoman Empire, and reading and writing was privileged to a few people, and there were no schools. The Ottoman Empire did not encourage learning at all. So he learned, and he, at a very, very early age, he became a hafiz, which means that he memorized the Holy Quran by heart. But he felt that there was more to learn, and he noticed his people around him. They had tombs that they prayed to. They had graves that they prayed to. They had trees that they go ask for help from it. That is, he said, that doesn't sound like a religion. More like what Martin Luther did in Germany at that time. Not at that time, actually before, 200 years before him. So he decided he went to Mecca to learn more from the scholars there. He still knew there were scholars there. And then he went to Medina to learn from scholars. Then he went to Iraq to learn from them. Then he came back, and he said he came up with something that is unusual. That is, he said, 2 things you should know about Islam. That's his idea. Okay? Everything, nothing is forbidden in Islam. Nothing is forbidden except what's written in the Holy Quran or the Hadith, which is Prophet Muhammad talks and deeds with his followers. If it's not there, then it is not forbidden. So nothing is forbidden except what's written is that's forbidden. And far as worshipping, everything is forbidden except what's in the Holy Quran and in the Hadith. And that's angered a lot of people. There were a lot of people making a lot of money from places to worship, places to visit, religious sites, and all these things. And there was a big, he said, delete them all, get them all out. A lot of people did not like this. They lost a lot of money. So he had no help. He tried to look for help until Muhammad bin Saud told him that he will help him get things right, because he talked to him and told him that this is the right Islam, and it's not Islam that you worship people. There is the oneness of God, and no one can give forgiveness but God. No one can give anything but God, and there are no miracles at all. Maybe magicians, but no miracles. So he went with him, and he started by destroying all the graves that the people used to come visit, the trees that they think that is holy. There's a tree there that in the center of the Arabian Peninsula that people would come and ask for forgiveness, for money, for things, and even women who cannot have babies, they can go and ask him to have babies, that they can be pregnant. A lot of people did not like this. There was a lot of fight against him, and the Ottoman Empire did its part in fighting him. I hope this is the first part. If you will have any comments or questions or suggestions, you can email me. It's better email at yourknowledge123@hotmail.com. Now, at your knowledge is not the whole letters. ATYK123@hotmail.com. Peace.